I wanted to go over some pros to choosing an alpha guy. I want to ask y'all, a guy like we're gonna just we're talking in general here. What y'all think is like an alpha male? What y'all think is a guy that all the other women want or whatever? What do y'all think is some pros to these type of guys? Like there's because we're gonna talk about cons also. So think of both. What is a pro to choosing these guys that all the other girls kind of want possibly?
Mm. I would say the first thing that pretty much I think anyone looks at is just appearance. So someone that's like fit, works
You
out.
get to have a sexy dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
that
would say.
I would say yeah. No, I completely agree with that one. What do you think?
I feel like a leader in the relationship, like they're already alpha, so they already like
They're used
know
to bleeding.
they're used to leading, and like obviously in a husband you would want, even in a relationship you would want someone to lead.
Yeah, that is a good pro. What do you think? What's another pro for alpha?
I think alphas are providers. Like they take charge in a relationship, so they'll take the lead in all types of relationships. So finances,
He's a leader in all aspects
right,
instead of just one, like
right.
provider and all of it, protector, all of it. Yeah. What do you think?
Something I would really admire in an alpha is self discipline. And that kind of goes with fitness and
Hmm.
really everything that we talked about, I would say.
Yeah, he has to be disciplined as hell if he's doing all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, no, we're actually gonna go into a little bit more detail about that because I kind of know what you're saying, like even sexual discipline, correct? Is
Yeah.
that kind of why you're bringing that up?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Most women
We
would
could
say
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
talk about it.
We're gonna go into it. So like, I also want to preface this with remember, like when I bring up the alpha beta thing, um, there's a lot of nuance here. So the guy can be super like y'all can be like, well, he makes amazing money, he owns his own company, he's tall, he goes to the gym, and he can still be a beta guy, okay? Because it's all about how he acts. It's all about how he moves. You can have all this cool stuff and still be a dork loser beta dude. So like y'all, like I got to preface the and a guy can be an alpha and not even be a super sexy dude. Gandhi, I would consider an alpha. He had a lot of women at one point. Gandhi had multiple women at one point. He had a lot of status. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. cheated on his wife. He had a lot of status. He was multiple girls. That guy was alpha. They didn't go to the gym. They were spiritual leaders, and they were still probably considered alpha in a way.
Hmm.
So remember when we're talking about this stuff, there's a lot of like exceptions to things. Cons to choosing an alpha. What is a bad thing about choosing a guy that all the other girls want? You think?
Maybe like too much confidence. Like,
Cocky.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Too much
actually a good
confidence.
point though. So like but you would say that there's a difference between being cocky and like actually deserving or like what's the other word? Cocky and confident. You
Hmm.
would say, right?
There's a difference. Yeah.
Okay. So like but if he truly deserves it because he's earned a lot of money or he lifts a lot of weight or he does something to make it to that point, would you say
Hmm.
that it's not cocky then? Like he's just
I
confident?
say there's a point where it gets too much. Like, okay, no matter how big of a person you are, like how great you are,
You got to humble
there's a point.
yourself at a certain
Yeah,
point
yeah, you
because
gotta be
humility
humble.
is actually looks good at a certain point too, I'd say. So yeah, it looks very unattractive if you're just all pride and no humility. But I want to ask, just pivoting a little bit, do you think that who has a bigger issue with that today, men or women in society?
Mm,
Like having a big head, having a big ego.
I don't know.
You say
Um,
50-50 if you want.
yeah, I
What do you?
don't really think. I think both ways is
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that it's I wouldn't necessarily think of it as a con, but it gets like not competitive, but like you have a lot of other women, like you have to be very secure in yourself. So like if other girls are like DMing you and saying, "Oh, your guy's like, like hitting on me or like doing this and that," like you will have multiple women
Oh, that's
DMing
a big
you.
con. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Having
and
to deal with that.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree with you
especially
on that one.
yeah.
But I wanted to ask pivoting for that other question for just one second. I want to ask you too. Do you think that it's equal in society when it comes to ego issues? Like men and women are the same? Like we both have pretty bad ego issues, or do you think it's like one more than the other?
No, definitely 50-50. It really depends, like, especially nowadays. Like, if we're speaking now, like, with social media and stuff, it's definitely 50-50.
Okay. I'm gonna ask that same question. What I just asked her. Like what do you think when it comes to ego issues? Do you think men or women have it worse?
Um, Generally speaking, I would say, um, it's so hard.
That's
Yeah,
You can say 50-50
yeah,
too. If y'all all are gonna just be in the middle all day, we could do that.
yeah.
That's fine. I mean, nobody wants to take a side here. I get it though.
I would
What about you?
definitely say I know a lot more cocky women than I know cocky men.
Look at this
To be
woman.
honest.
She but like I'm just surprised that like you just said something different from the group. Honestly, it's one of the big jokes that we have on the panel that sometimes not I'm not talking here, but sometimes women can chameleon really hard or like really like oh if this person's saying this I want to say the same thing because you don't want to hurt that other person. Like if you're sitting with another girl and she just brought up how she's really against something, why would you kind of want to like push at her and be like oh no I think I really just like sometimes it's hard to do that. Sometimes like like it's called the what is the word for it? I can't remember.
Communism.
No, no, I can't think of what it's called. But basically, we're like women have like a real hive mind. Y'all like to work together. Like, what is it
Hive.
called, man? I can't think of what it's called.
Feminism.
No. It's called something. It's called something sisterhood. I can't think of what it's called. If somebody can type it in the chat, it's called the something sisterhood. But it's the sisterhood Uber Alice. That's what it's called.
Haram.
The sisterhood Uber Alice, which just means that y'all are just willing to always team up on anything when you need to. Like, it's better to be together than it is to disagree.
We got
Basically.
each other's backs.
Basically.